Merry holidays. I'm Dana Denha, and you're watching FYI. As the year closes, watch some of the topics covered on FYI throughout 2025 on the second installment of the Year in Review. Ann Arbor has long been a stronghold of support for the LGBTQ+ community, fostering an environment where individuals can live openly and authentically without fear of judgment. The city has been recognized for its progressive values, recently receiving honors from the state of Michigan for being the first community in the United States to elect and openly support gay officials in public office.
We looked at our broad range of markers and realized that there was, to our shock, not a single LGBTQ+ history marker in our state.
I'm incredibly honored to be part of a state historical marker unveiling the first LGBTQ historical marker in the state of Michigan, honoring 3 of our former council members here in Ann Arbor, and also a dear friend and mentor of mine, Jim Toy, longtime LGBTQ activist here in the community.
Nancy Wexler, my colleague, and I were elected in 1972 and served on the council. Nancy and I came out as lesbian and gay while we were on the city council, and we were the first 2 people in all of the United States to openly be gay and out, LGBTQ and out, while we were elected public officials. And it's so important that young people be involved today, progressive young people running for office, being active politically. So
my election was the first election for an out gay person. So it has historical significance in the LGBTQ community, and that significance was recognized today. I was committed to the goals of the Human Rights Party, women's rights, gay rights, and City Council gave us a legitimacy, but also the ability to structure funding for daycare programs and social services like that.
I knew that being gay was not accepted in most parts of the country.
While I was on the city council, I had my first gay relationship. So the next time an issue came before the council that had to do with LGBTQ rights, it was only natural that I would come out, because otherwise it would be disingenuous for me to talk about the rights of other people without identifying as gay myself. So to me, it was a liberating experience. It was exhilarating because I had hid it for so long and was more than ready to come out.
Jerry, Nancy, and I were vehicles to make that change. We were put in a position, we let ourselves be put in a position that we could work collectively with our group, and we're very happy to have had that honor and that privilege.
Ultimately, we've seen kind of just an evolution of folks who are out and proud serving in our government. We have 3 members of our council today who are members of the LGBTQ community, and that path was really made possible by the folks whose shoulders we are standing on, Nancy and Jerry and Kathy, who really blazed that path for us.
We do want to celebrate, but we also, going forward, want to make sure that the rights of all people are protected.
We want to demonstrate the importance of the LGBTQ community, not just as players in our local community, but as real influencers and folks who are making laws and having a seat in the policy discussions.
It's plain to see that the city of Ann Arbor is a destination for tourists from Michigan and beyond. To ensure the area is safe during large-scale events, unexpected weather, or any emergency, one of our fire stations has a meeting area to host personnel to brainstorm the best safety solutions for the situation at hand.
We are here today at our City Emergency Operations Center, or our EOC. It's our open house, and we're recognizing our partnership with the National Weather Service and the work that we've done to become a storm-ready community, which is a certification through the National Weather Service where the city had to meet certain criteria to essentially stay one step ahead of severe weather.
A lot of what we use it for is actually planned events, whether it's art fair or the concerts at Michigan Stadium. So we can bring people together, so if something does happen, we don't really have that reflux time, or we can cut down on that dramatically. It's at Fire Station 1, so it's a secure location. We already had the emergency backup power. So a lot of the things that you would want in an emergency operations center, this space worked out.
Protecting our residents and our property, this space will allow us to kind of make decisions and more effectively, achieve those missions.
It's a great thing for the city to now fortunately have.
Since 1970, Ann Arbor has been celebrating the core values of the city through the annual Earth Day Festival. The all-ages event has educational opportunities, hands-on experiences, and plenty of entertainment for the whole fam. Ann Arbor has so many majestic nature areas, none more fitting to honor the planet on Earth Day than Leslie Science and Nature Center. The locale boasts a playscape carved out of the trees and rocks that make up the landscape of this local gem. The Birds of Prey and Reptile House give visitors a chance to meet and greet some breathtaking creatures. Earth Day hosts a slew of nonprofits and organizations making learning exciting and hands-on. And there's always some tunes from local favorites like Joe Riley to make you think about Mother Nature while grooving.
Make today a day of peace. Heal our broken families. May our hearts be open. May our hearts be open wide. Make today a day.
Our local Humane Society does so much for the community and furry friends of all kinds. But they also need support to keep this invaluable organization flourishing into the future, creating a loving, caring environment for all.
We are at the 46th annual Walk and Wagon Run by the Humane Society of Huron Valley.
So many people actually adopt their dogs, cats, chickens. They have gerbils, hamsters, bunnies.
It's the biggest annual event for the Humane Society of Huron Valley, and all proceeds from the event go towards our shelter's programs. So that includes adoptions, fostering, cruelty, rescue, wildlife rescue, and a lot more. So we're here at the park with hundreds of people, hundreds of dogs, and it's always a great time. So we've got tons of fun games and activities for both dogs and for people, for kids. You can bring your dog, you can bring your friend's dog, or you can just come enjoy all the dog watching.
This is first such a fun event. There's so many things to do and there's so many other businesses here to see, and it's just such a great way to have fun and also support them.
We are just all around animal welfare, have a ton of great programs, and all the proceeds from Walk and Wag go towards all of that.
This year's Walk and Wagon Run raised over $368,000 for the Humane Society of Huron Valley. For more, visit hshv.org. Dance Marathon at the University of Michigan, or DMUM, provides an outlet for children with disabilities, the Little Victors, and their families. Watch as the student-run org created a space for everyone to get together and let loose.
Today we're here at the Little Victors Formal. It's a partnership between Dance Marathon and the University of Michigan and Mott Children's Hospital.
So it's just a fun event to get some families and our DMUM members out and about, give us the opportunity to dress up similar to, like prom or a wedding.
Special needs kids can struggle, and so this is somewhere that they can go and just relax and have fun.
We have some scavenger hunt booths and hair tinsel and bracelet making, playing games, a wide assortment of things. We have our therapists, some of our therapists here too, so Sophie's Place, which is music therapy, and then Mott Arcade, which is a bunch of video games.
Silent disco is an activity where you can put on headphones and you'll be listening to music simultaneously with a lot of other individuals, but nobody else can hear unless you have the headphones on. And so it's just super fun to be a little bit less stimulating of not having music blaring, and you can turn it up however loud of a volume you want.
Events like this are just a great way to get the kids to meet our members and allow us to meet them and kind of hang out with them.
The Little Victors feel like they have a place in a community, and as well as the DMOM families, and making sure that they feel at home when they're at our events.
I'm just thankful for DMOM and all the work that these students put in to make fun things for our family.
We really are making a difference, and the things that we are doing are really influential.
I love DMOM. It's one of the biggest parts of my college experience, and if you ask any single DMOM member, I am sure that that would be their response as well.
Supporting the health and wellness of children can create a more well-rounded, empathetic, and understanding adult. There's a University of Michigan organization dedicated to keeping our youngest generation safe, strong, and ready to tackle life head-on.
We're here for the Susan B. Meister Child Health Evaluation and Research Center annual lecture on child health policy. We bring in speakers every year on a different topic relevant to children's health and health policy.
Susan Meister and her husband Paul are two of the most enlightened philanthropists here at the University of Michigan. Their philanthropy across the healthcare side of what University of Michigan does, the research side, and now in this cultural space is hugely important. And they endowed this annual lecture every year to really draw attention, raise awareness on child health policy, and we're thrilled that actually for the first time in its existence, actually this focus today will be on the arts and music, specifically on childhood development.
The keynote speaker this year is Anthony White. He's the music director of the Detroit Youth Choir. We wanted him to come join us with his choir to be able to speak to the importance of music education and the importance of supporting the arts in children's education, because it's really important for children's development in learning about the arts, but also their emotional and intellectual development as well.
We know that there's more and more research today about actually how the arts improve people's physical health. And I think we've known for a long time, and all of us who are involved in the arts know that the arts and emotional well-being and health, I think, they're intrinsically linked.
We learned today that there's more to it than just music. There's the education about music, there's the learning about not just the vocalization or the performance of music, but the camaraderie.
Books open endless possibilities to readers, and one local organization is sharing stories from cultures all over the world, teaching children about countries, values, and beliefs from neighboring nations.
Today was a little celebration for the launch of our team's very first children's book, Amelia and Punsit, and it's also the launch of our organization, A Colorful Collection. A Colorful Collection is essentially an initiative that aims to increase representation in children's literature through different community events.
The stories that the Colorful Collection they're trying to tell is one that we need to hear. That's one of the biggest things that drew me to this country, just the fact that it's truly a tapestry of culture, of expression, of life. There's so many people from so many places.
So the theme of today's event is remembering your roots. It was really thinking about our childhoods, all the things we experienced as kids, just being around the table with our friends, family, and the food. To us, those were our roots. The book is about Sunny. He's a little boy and he's going over to his grandparents' house to celebrate his Alola's birthday. Essentially, Amelia means family. Punsit is a traditional noodle dish in the Philippines. Before the celebration can get started, Sunny must help his Lola, Amelia, cook Punsit for the rest of the family.
As the world is changing and things are evolving, that we can continue to know that as long as we see the humanity in one another, that anything is possible.
While we're on the topic of books, the Ann Arbor District Library made headlines throughout 2025, proving that this local institution creates a higher quality of life in A2. Hear more about this local treasure straight from the library director himself. The love for the Ann Arbor District Library is hard to miss. You see the swag all over town, hear the buzz about its events and programs, and witness the strong community support every time voters show up to keep this local treasure thriving for generations to come. Back in August, a special election was held to decide the future of the Library Lane parcel, and the results are in. That space will soon become a vibrant new addition to the city, including a brand new downtown library. Joining me with the latest on this exciting project is Eli Neiburger, director of the Ann Arbor District Library. Welcome back to the show, Eli.
Thank you, Dana. It's always great to be here.
I'd like a little, we've been talking about this, I call it the library lot, but I guess it's the Library Lane parcel. We've been talking about this for so many years. I can't even remember how this first came about, that this was going to be a project so how long has this been actually happening? Because it seems like forever.
I think forever is a fairly fair description of it. I mean, as long ago as 20 years ago or more, there was discussion of what should happen with that parcel. I've seen plans from the 80s about it. So it's certainly been something that's been discussed since it was a flat lot for many, many years right next to the downtown library. So when the parking garage was built to have structure to support a medium building up in the front and a dense building in the back. So that infrastructure is already under the ground. Then in 2018, there was the citizens ballot question to amend the city charter. And now that charter amendment has now been rescinded by the voters. And so now we're in the position where the next step is that the city and the library will be finalizing that transfer agreement. And that will come before city council and it will come before the library board. And then we'll be off and running with the work of developing a new building.
That's crazy to think that this is actually going to happen. And you know what's really exciting about it? Before you were the director, it was Josie Parker. And I remember having her on years ago and her being like, we would love a new downtown library, but it's just not feasible to rebuild that library. And now it's actually going to happen. And I think that part is the most exciting for us people that love the library, because the downtown library is such a treasure and there's so much programming there.
Yes.
And to envision this new beautiful space that the library deserves.
Yes, we're certainly hugely excited about it. And really, what made it become feasible without new tax revenue was the ability to include housing as part of the project and use the proceeds from that housing to defray the cost of the construction. So, as in the middle of a housing crisis, and there's not a better place for housing than right across the street from one of the busiest transit centers in the state. So it's a really great opportunity for the whole community, all different sectors, and for the library to really make something special, a real center of the city, if you will.
Yeah, I would like to know how this came about. So you started having meetings with the city administrator, Milton Tahoney. And where did you come up with this plan that would be lucrative for both the city and the library?
Well, the city approached us and, asked us if we wanted to talk about the parking structure. And of course, as it being something right next door, we already had a plan to develop a new library with housing above just on the current site. Right. And what we found was that it almost worked and would require, millions of dollars of money out of our operating budget to make it happen. And so, when Milton asked the question if we would be interested in talking about adding that space to our project, of course we were interested. Right. So city council then discussed it and they decided to put it on the ballot. And then to move forward from there. So now this is really the beginning of the road and not the end of it. Now we know how the voters feel about it, and we are ready to take the next steps. It's a long process, be every bit of 6 or 7 years before we're cutting the ribbon on a new building, just to kind of step through that. After the agreement is settled, then the library will be issuing an RFP, a request for proposals for development partners. Then the library board will publicly select which development partners to work with. Then the library and the development partners will select design team. Then the design team will participate with the library to do public engagement about the design. Then the design will be developed into construction documents. Then the financing, blah, 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 blah. So we're at least 3 years away from the current downtown library closing for construction. And we will not be operating on this site during construction. It's too expensive and inconvenient to do that. So we will have a temporary downtown library during the project at a location yet to be determined because we don't know what real estate's going to be available in 3 years from now when we'd be looking for.
So this vote that happened in August was that you would be able to give the city $1. Is that how it works? That you have to
Well,
pay?
it's
There has to
basically-
be some sort of exchange.
Yeah, it is a transfer of property from one public entity to another, organized as a sale. So
Okay.
because it is organized as a sale, there's a token dollar. This is a very common maneuver when public entities are transferring property back and forth to organize it as a dollar sale. And it's not uncommon for people to do that, sell their own property to the city for $1 when they want it to become public property. So it's a very common mechanism for doing what is in essence a donation that is organized as a sale for the simplicity of the transaction.
Were you surprised after all these years where that lot was just like, no one knows what we're going to do with it, that the city was like ready to, have you guys develop it?
I don't think I was surprised. We're really the most natural partner to develop that
I
space.
agree, but it just seemed like it took so long for this to come to fruition.
Yeah, well, there's we have our dedicated funding stream. We have a proven track record of operating public space. We're already committed to this block. It was really a very natural fit to move this forward. And, this project is the number one thing on the library's agenda for years to come, right? Whereas at the city, it's just one of 1,000 different things that they have to take care of. So it was really a win-win-win for the city, for the library, for the community to be able to make this move at this point. We're so glad that the voters saw it that way.
So what do you have plans for what you want to see this new downtown library to be?
Yeah, in a rough sense, we haven't spent the money to develop architectural plans yet. We do have an architectural program that was developed in 2018 for a downtown library, but that needs to be revised, and we're starting that process now. But that's like a text description of the things the library needs to have,
Yeah.
right? But some of the things we've talked about is we'd like to have a large second floor that crosses over Library Lane. If you've been to any of our expos, you know that we need a lot more floor space for our expos, more floor space than even the entire current site of the downtown library could offer, right? So that's really a big part of the benefit of adding that second site is that we'll be able to have a much larger floor, right? We know we need to have an auditorium. Ideally, that seats around 450 or 500 people. So that's a fairly large space. We know we want to have an incredible new kids area. We know we want to have like a local history reading room. We know we want to have studios and other meeting rooms. We don't have enough meeting rooms. The meeting rooms we have aren't big enough. So it's really about adding gathering space. What we don't need is a lot more room for the collection, because that's really something that this building provides very well. We have plenty of room for the collection. And as you can imagine, the volume, the size of the DVD and Blu-ray collection is probably about as big as it will ever be.
Yeah, I
right?
would think so.
That collection is not a growing one, and it has a large footprint. So while the new library will have thousands of new items in it, of course, adding space for the collection is not really part of the pinch. We need to add space for people. We need to add space for programs. We need to add space for opportunities that haven't come along yet. A great example of that, we currently have our new lobby shops in the downtown library. 2 of them are now open, and that's like a retail incubator offering small businesses an opportunity to sell in the downtown Ann Arbor at prices that you can't get in Whitmore Lake, let alone downtown Ann Arbor, right? So that's been a very successful program so far. We're looking forward for the opportunity to expand that in a new downtown library. And we started that now so we would have some experience with it before we got to the design phase of a downtown library.
Nice. And so then the library would be, what you're saying, a few stories high then?
Most likely 2 to 4 stories, depending on how it all comes together, what the other partners are that are involved. And then above that would be housing towers on the parking lot, on the library lane side, and on the current library side.
This is just so amazing to wrap my head around that this is actually happening. I can't believe it. And even like thinking about, okay, well, we all love the downtown library, but it might be closed for some time. To get this new library is so worth every year that library is closed.
We know how hard it is, especially on families whose little kids are in prime library age during those 3 years of construction, right?
Yeah.
Which is why we'll endeavor to make sure that there's plenty of programming options around the system, as well as, we understand that for many thousands of people, the downtown library is their neighborhood library, right? And that's why we're committed to having a downtown library where programming can continue to happen during that time. But yeah, you can't have a great new library without construction involved.
Oh, no doubt. I'm excited to see what happens, what that space the space surrounding the library will be, but it sounds really amazing. And I do agree. I mean, I've been to these events at the library. People love going to the library for events.
Yeah.
And it's jam-packed. You go to another library, you go to the Pittsfield one and there's an event and you're like, there's nowhere even to park. People love going to things that the library holds. It's so amazing that when you look at all the stuff that the library provides. So like to have this happen, it just feels good. And I know when it was time for me to vote as a resident, I didn't even have to think about the way I was going to vote for that special election.
Well, thank you for your support, Dana. We always love to hear that.
Yeah. Well, and I have a little one right now, and my neighborhood library is Mallett's Creek. But I mean, even just going there, it's not the biggest library, but we love it. We love going to Mallett's Creek. The kids love it. We get to go pick out books. We get to go to the toddler groups, the children's groups and stuff. It's just so much fun. The library is just a gem.
No, I love to hear it. Can't get enough of that.
Well, and to me, it's like, like I said, I knew Josie, and I always thought she was an amazing library director. And now you've stepped into these shoes so seamlessly. It's almost as if she never left.
Well, Josie and I worked together for a long time, and I was her deputy director for almost 10 years before I became director.
Yeah.
So I knew what I was getting into. We had worked to get to this point together, and she paved the way for what's happening now.
I think she would be so proud of everything. I think she would be very proud.
She is. I've heard from her, and she certainly
I would assume, yes. Because it is interesting to think too, like there's these people that worked for the library for so many years and it meant so much to them. And then at some point you have to retire. And then it doesn't stop meaning something to you anymore.
Right.
It's still it's important to you.
Yeah. I mean, I've worked here for 28 years. I expect to work here for many more. And, it will be quite a moment when I hand over the reins to someone else and see what they want.
And you can't do it until this new library is finished.
Oh, that's for sure. And then some. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Eli. There's so much exciting stuff happening. I want to congratulate you for being so proactive and just an amazing director to have at the helm of the Ann Arbor District Library, which means the world to this community. I can't talk to a person that doesn't love the library. And like I said at the beginning, even when you walk around, I swear, when I'm walking around the streets, I see at least 3 people with a library shirt on.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We let's see, and there's 13,000 new ones just this summer. We shipped 13,000 t-shirts to summer game players. Yeah. So yeah, this town loves its library, and that really makes it easy for me to do my job. And I'm so appreciative to everyone in town for using and loving and supporting AADL.
For more on this and other programs, visit a2gov.org/CTN. Visit youtube.com/CTN Ann Arbor to see all that we have to offer. And remember to like, subscribe, and ring that notification. Thanks for watching, and tune in next time to FYI.